The Last of Us is pretty obviously becoming Sony's golden goose IP. I mean, following the insane success of the HBO show, which is amazing, critical acclaim for both mainline games that they've gotten, it's there. There was a bit of controversy surrounding the story of Part 2, and the remake of Part 1 definitely ruffled some feathers. When it comes to critical reception and mainstream appeal, The Last of Us is the gift that keeps on giving for Sony and Naughty Dog, and while a number of rumors have been floating around about a third game, we just got new intel regarding the multiplayer spin-off that's been in development for what seems like forever. Welcome to VideoGameLeaks, everybody. Chaos here. Make sure you're subbed to the channel with notifications on so you don't miss any future videos. Let's get into the new information we have about the upcoming Last of Us multiplayer game. A standalone multiplayer game set in the Last of Us universe. It started development during the development cycle for Part 2. According to Naughty Dog, they were originally going to include a multiplayer mode with Part 2, which would be similar to the first game's Factions multiplayer mode, if you remember that. But as time went on, the project and scope got bigger and bigger, so they decided to cut it from the base game and continue working on it so it could be the best experience it could possibly be. And that happens a lot of times. It starts off to be part of something, then it gets so big, it has to become its own entity. The Last of Us Part 2 is almost 3 years old now, and the multiplayer spin-off is still nowhere to be found. But the other day, we got a bit of an update on where it's been. Although it's not from any official statement or Twitter post or anything like that. Instead, it came from a job listing on Naughty Dog's own website. In early March, it was discovered that Naughty Dog was hiring an associate multiplayer QA tester and development support team member. And the job listing explicitly mentions the Last of Us multiplayer game. So given how long the game's been in development, it would make sense for Naughty Dog to be looking for QA testers as they finish up development. But that's not the juicy part. What is the juicy part is a lineup of new details that were included in the job description. According to the original job requirements, the new employee must have a working knowledge of PS4 and PS5 systems, which is the first time we've gotten official confirmation as to what systems this game is going to be on. Up until this point, we've been speculating on whether or not the Last of Us multiplayer game would be exclusive to PS5 or it would be cross-generation, but it seems that we know now that it will be cross-generation as a game, likely some kind of cross-play. This also seems to contradict previous rumors that the game would be coming to PC, although it is still possible the PC version is just being handled by another team. Normally, console and PC versions of games are tested differently, and since Sony has said a couple years ago that all their first-party live service games will be coming to PC one day, it does seem a little odd that there's no mention of a PC version of The Last of Us in the job posting, especially since the Part 1 remake is launching on PC in a couple weeks. But again, it's totally possible Naughty Dog has a different team handling it. Now, we don't know exactly when The Last of Us multiplayer game is going to see the light of day, and honestly, we have no idea what it's going to look like. We know that it's going to be much more than the standard Factions multiplayer of the first game, but what more is there in there? Personally, I think The Last of Us universe is the perfect fit for some kind of extraction game mode, and since that mode is starting to get popular, it already is, seems obvious. But you let me know. Are you excited for it? What do you think it's going to be like cross-gen? You let us know in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed with the notifications on, and I'll see you in the next one.